All right, welcome to The Explainer. Thinking about your financial future can feel, well, overwhelming, right? So today, we're going to demystify it. We'll break down how the system really works by looking at the core ideas, the person who advises you, and then we'll pull apart a real-world financial product so you can see how to analyze any plan that comes your way. So let's kick things off with this really unique and interesting take from our source material. It frames investing as more than just a numbers game. It's a tool, for building towards a good time and getting your future works done. It's a simple idea, but it's pretty powerful, and it really sets the stage for everything else we're going to talk about. Okay, so before we can even talk about a specific product, we've got to get on the same page about the fundamental concepts. Think of these as the building blocks that financial advisors use to create their plans and, just as importantly, to explain what they're offering.
First up, our source gives us the classic definition of investment. And really, at its heart, it's pretty simple. It's about taking the money you already have and making it work for you through things like stocks or bonds, so you're not the only one working hard.
But here's the thing, a great investment idea doesn't just magically land in your lap. That's where marketing comes in, and our source makes a point to highlight this. And this is super important because it helps you see the difference between what a product is versus how it's being sold to you. All right, so we've got the big picture concepts down. Now let's zoom in a bit. Let's talk about the person who's supposed to guide you through this world, the financial advisor. Who are they really, and what kind of expertise are they bringing to the table? So, our source material actually gives us a great case study. It focuses on one particular government-authorized advisor. We're going to use his profile to kind of see what sort of background and expertise you might want to look for when you're deciding who to trust with your money. Okay, so take a look at this. It's a pretty diverse background, right? You see a master's in math, and you think, okay, great, this person can handle the numbers. But then you see political science and marketing. That tells a different story. It suggests they don't just see the numbers, they see the bigger picture, how markets and even people behave. It's that combo of hard math skills and, a real understanding of the world that can make for a really effective advisor. Okay, so we've talked concepts, we've looked at an advisor's profile, but what does that all lead to? How does it actually turn into a product you can buy? Let's take a look at how all these pieces come together in a real-world plan.
So we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of one specific plan from our source, LIC's Index Plus. Now, this thing is what's called a unit-linked insurance plan, or a ULIP for short. That just means it's a hybrid. It's trying to do two things at once, and we're about to unpack exactly what that means for you.
And this right here, this is the whole idea behind it. It's basically a two-for-one deal. On one side, you have your life insurance coverage. That's the financial safety net for your family if something happens. But on the other side, you've got an investment that's plugged into the stock market designed to actually grow your wealth. So it's trying to tackle both security and growth in one package.
Now, a dual benefit product sounds pretty good, right? But you know what they say, the devil is in the details. So how does it actually work? Let's get into the mechanics of what's really happening with your money inside a plan like this.
Right away, you can see there's a big choice you have to make as the investor. The plan lets you tie your investment to a stock market index. So you're choosing between the Nifty 100, which tracks the top 100 companies, or the Nifty 50, which is more focused on just those top 50 biggest players. It's basically a choice between spreading your risk a little wider or concentrating on the absolute giants of the market. This gives you a great snapshot of the journey your money goes on. Once you put your money in, it goes into what's called a 5-year lock-in period. Now, there's a reason for that. It's to give the investment some breathing room to grow and not get derailed by every little up and down in the market. It's only after those 5 years that you can start to access some of it, before you get the whole thing back when the plan matures.
Plans like this are often built with these little extra features to make them more attractive. You'll see things like guaranteed additions. That's basically a bonus percentage added to what you pay in. Or a refund of mortality charges, which is a fancy way of saying you get the cost of the insurance part back. When you're looking at any plan, it's so important to understand how these little perks work, right alongside the big stuff like flexibility and tax benefits.
All right, we have gone through a lot. We've looked at the big ideas, the person guiding you, and a real-world product. So, what's the bottom line here?
How can you actually use all of this to make smarter choices for yourself?
It all boils down to this. You can make any financial plan way less confusing by just breaking it down into 3 simple parts. First, look at the advisor. What's their background? What's their approach? Second, get a grip on the concepts. What do the words they're using actually mean? And third, you've got to dig into the product details. What are the real benefits, the costs, the features? That 3-step process, that's your toolkit for cutting through the noise.
And that really just leaves us with one final question. And this one's for you to think about. We've taken apart one example today. But look, everybody's financial journey is different. It's personal. So as you start to think about your future, what's the most important thing to you? Is it that safety net? Is it the potential for big growth? Or is it having an expert you can trust to guide you? Figuring that out, well, that's step 1.